Mr. Kaplowitz.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Mr. Abernathy is not here, so he has said he would yield his time to me, both in spirit and in time. So I thank you for that. It's interesting. We spend so much time in this legislature on so many important issues. At times we spend too much time on some issues. And at the end of the day, this item is probably the thinnest gruel I think this board has ever considered in its entirety. It's a soup that at the moment is indistinguishable for any taste and any value, and has been cooking so long that I think we have boiled off certainly all the taste, but even all the water. And what we're ladling out is something that satisfies at this point nobody. The mere dollop of gruel that comes out that was designed to help people, I think has been so watered down on the one hand that it will provide very little help and so many exceptions that my guess is it will not be particularly flavorful and not particularly rewarding. And on the other hand, it creates what I'm calling the Full Employment Act for lawyers for 2010. Certainly, I think if you want to be a housing attorney and work in human rights areas, this is probably your annuity, if you will, because you can tack this up on your wall and probably spend a lot of your practice just trying to defend people, trying to defend landlords on the one hand and assert claims on the other hand. I don't even know where to start, Mr. Chairman. This is probably the most well-intentioned but incredibly misguided law this board has absolutely ever considered and certainly come to fruition today. It's going to create in its entirety just absolutely awful public policy with amazingly unintended negative consequences across the entire board. We have spoken oftentimes about win-win situations. This is, without doubt, the most lose-lose proposition that has ever been before this Board of Legislators. We have driven a stake into the tenants of Westchester County. There will not be a single rental unit that will come on board on a going-forward basis. There is no reason that a landlord should invest $2 in this county. With this law, with the possibility of a $50,000 fine, it absolutely makes no sense. Investment is like water. It's going to find its lowest level. And in seeking its level, given this impediment, given this law, given the absolute uncertainty, I've been following this for the last few years. I'm not even sure what all the terms are and what we're voting on with all the exceptions. I think there is an opportunity to really do some tremendous damage to the investment of new housing, new rental housing in this county. And if I was a landlord and you were looking for a reasonable return on investment, you were looking to invest your dollars in possibly the purchase of an existing building or the construction of a new building, this would be, I think, a real impediment. You'd have to think long and hard about why you would invest your hard-earned dollars in Westchester County in terms of the rental marketplace. I don't even really quite know where to start. As colleague has said, it is already against the law to discriminate. The fact that we are looking for it looks like we're looking for other tasks for the Human Rights Commission to be engaged in. The fact that we've put a $50,000 down from a $100,000 fine is, I guess, for shock value, but certainly has gotten everyone's attention. And the discrimination laws on the books, no one has indicated, in fact, that they are not sufficient to do the job thus far. Statistics, we have both in our own committee report as well as a memo from a Joshua Cohn and a Karen Tenenbaum. The statistics quite clearly point out this law is not needed. I'm quoting a survey of multifamily property owners and managers conducted by the United States Census Bureau found approximately 8.7 million out of approximately 20.5 million owners and managers surveyed will not accept Section 8 vouchers. That can actually be put in the reverse, which is a survey done by the United Census Bureau found that 58% of all owners and managers will accept Section 8 vouchers. 58%. And we've had testimony that indicated that approximately 1 out of 2 landlords in Westchester County accepted the vouchers. 1 out of 2, 50%. This is saying 58%. The work that was done, the very good work by Ms. Tenenbaum and Mr. Cohn also indicated when you go through their memo and the statistics, do you accept Section 8? On a completely unscientific basis, their preliminary work and their subsequent work indicated a significant percentage do accept, or very possibly would accept. Big percent did not say no, and some did, but many did not. So the statistics are unclear. We talk about the Section 8 system itself. There was some comment made by a colleague earlier. This would incent the system to be improved, and somehow we will, through this, create some bottoms-up opportunity to make the Section 8 system better. If this legislature is really naive enough to think that a federal Section 8 program is going to change its day-to-day participatory and stricture based on Westchester County and a new law, we are really out doing something that just is not connected to reality. We have zero control over the Section 8 program. It's clear from the testimony. I'm not sure the Federals have much control over the Section 8 program, no less the fact that we can artificially create some positive changes to that. To take away a reasonable business decision from a landlord is, and I've never used this phrase, but I'm going to use it today, it's un-American, it's undemocratic, it's uneconomic, and it's unfair. And I'll say it. There's no question that the social fabric and the social network is important. But at the same time, to be naive enough to think that you can artificially take away a profit motive from someone who in a free country still has the opportunity to invest their dollars in alternative sources of investments. It could be a stock market, it could be a bond, it could be a bank, it could be real estate. It's their money. It's their hard-earned money. It's still in America legal in a capitalist system to invest your dollars where you choose. And real estate has been where many people have indicated that that's where they want to invest. But to take away a reasonable business decision from someone, to artificially say you cannot decide who in fact is going to be in your apartment based on the source of income goes right to the heart of your investment. The uncertainty of then not being able to know, in fact, and to make the appropriate business decision is unfair and is a disincentive, as I indicated before, to making the investment. There's an apartment building that's for sale, and the apartment building now lives under this world. Somebody comes forward and wants to buy that apartment building. There has been a diminution of value in that apartment building. I can't say to $1, I can't say to $1 million, I can't say no one can. The marketplace will. But there is no question that you have harmed the owners of apartments. There is no question that furthermore, you have harmed the assessed valuation of this county, and you have harmed the entire marketplace artificially. Let's really get down to what this is about. This is a fight over the pie. But once again, instead of looking to create a bigger pie, and then knowing with many more slices we can share it with many, we continue to fight like pecking little birds at the same pie and continuing to take actions that continue to shrink the pie. You can raise taxes all you want, but there's a point at which people can't afford it anymore, and so a larger tax on a smaller base creates less revenue. We can fight over the number of spots. And by the way, Mr. Chairman, when we speak to Section 8 people, there's an acknowledgement that every year, every single Section 8 voucher is used. There has never been testimony that in the end Section 8 vouchers are not used. The problem is particular Section 8 vouchers to particular individuals. And there are some real problems on that side. That's the well-intentioned side. Why don't we create a novel concept of actually finding a way to incent more units? If in fact 50% of the units go to Section 8, instead of taking 100 units, let's make it 200 units. That would create 50 more units that would be available to Section 8 people, potentially using the gross and the local statistics. Let's grow the pie. Let's incent people. Let's lower the cost of business. Let's lower taxes. Let's make less disincentives available. Let's, instead of putting impediments up, let's actually do something like incent people to actually build affordable housing. This board has participated. I proudly stand here. I'm intellectually honest and say, I have built affordable housing. I voted for every affordable housing measure before us here. That has created a larger pie. By doing that, more units available. So while Section 8 perhaps is not available to 100%, but 50% of more units equals more units. This action today creates less incentive to build, less incentive to buy, less incentive to invest, and fewer units. We have done exactly the wrong thing, thinking that we've done the right thing. But there are going to be less units, less investment. We need to build more units, and so this board needs to continue to build. We need to educate. We need to work. But can you imagine a situation, as was testified before us, that in the world of finite units, you now have two people that come forward, one with Section 8, one without. If I'm a landlord, I first hire my attorney to figure out which, in fact, what I have to do to be able to make sure that I'm not sued by the one party simply because for good business reasons I didn't select them, but the presumption is it was Section 8, and now I'm before the Human Rights Commission potentially spending as much as $50,000 to defend myself, plus legal costs, all to rent an apartment. And I participate in Section 8 and all the terrible things we heard about it, the paperwork, the inspections, the inability to get paid. So I'm hurt if I choose one side, and I'm hurt if I choose the other side. So there's a no-win for a landlord. Why would I want to be a landlord? And I go with the Section 8 person. Now the person who's not Section 8 says, but that was a unit I could afford. And I'm standing on my own 2 feet, and I don't have Section 8. Why couldn't I rent that apartment? There was only one apartment available. Hence, we have not done anything for the marketplace except we now turn one member of the community against the other. So, Mr. Chairman, I will not continue. And I thank you very much for the opportunity to put on the record, as one could gather, why I'm not going to be supporting this particular law today. Perhaps we should sunset it for 30 minutes or an hour just to see how it works. We have so watered this legislation down that, in fact, everything we've done is to mollify. But even if you're trying to create some benefit, it continues to erode. If you're trying to deal with the deleterious effects, you've done nothing but except waste time and try to pretend to mollify the other side. In the end, this law, like so many other well-intentioned but misguided, will not create more units, will not create any fairness. We have simply created more confusion, more expense. And again, if I was a prudent landlord, Westchester County is putting up business is not welcome in this county. Maybe it's time to take your business somewhere else. Mr. Chairman, I will not be supporting this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplowitz.